What's up, everyone? My name is Sam. Thanks so much for joining the Sanjana Fitness Hatha Yoga YouTube channel. Today's practice is a beginner's level flow focused on calming the nervous system. So it'll be nice and slow and intentional. Feel free to grab a pillow or a prop if you need one. We're going to spend some time in quiet meditation today. And when you're ready, I'll meet you in the middle of your mat in a comfortable cross-legged seat. See you there. Okay, so I'm bringing a pillow to sit on. Grab that if you need to. And we're of course going to start by dropping in and having our little opening meditation here and just setting the intention for the practice today. We're going to work on breath work right away and incorporating a mantra if that's something that's useful for you, if that's something you usually do. So if you want to incorporate a mantra for today's practice, it might be something like, I am calm, or I am enough, or I am guided and held, or maybe just I am peace, something like that. Feel free to make it your own and choose a mantra that works for you, or if you don't want to, don't do it. We're going to start by settling in and just noticing, just observing as always, but especially noticing the quality of your breath. Anything that's distracting you in the mind or in the body. We're just noticing, we're just observing without judgment, without affecting the body or the mind, just watching right now. So as always, feel free to close your eyes at any time during the practice if it feels right. And just make sure you're listening to what your bodies need and making this practice your own. So I always like to take this simple mudra with the fingers when I'm first dropping into meditation. But since we're going to work on calming the nervous system today, you might also want to drop in with your hands doing something else, like maybe just resting gently on the heart space, or maybe on the belly. Maybe just opening up the palms in your lap. Either way, we're just going to start to settle into the physical body here. Start to notice the connections of the body to the earth or to the mat. Take a second just to check in with your spinal alignment. And then just keep coming back to the breath. So we're going to really focus on the sounds and sensations of the natural breath. Trying not to affect it, but just noticing. Notice the depth of your inhale. And maybe start to let go of whatever is distracting you on your exhales. If breath work is a regular part of your practice and you want to incorporate any tools that you already know, feel free. It's your practice, make it your own. Otherwise, we'll just focus on the simplicity of the breath. Maybe close your eyes and just listen to your inhales and exhales. If your hands are on the body, maybe just noticing the weight and warmth of that connection. Inhaling peace. And exhaling worry. Take your time here, try to settle in and find stillness. If that's difficult for you, just come back to the sound of the breath. Observing what's distracting you and letting that go. Let's focus on the fullness of your inhales and exhales. Maybe deepening and slowing down the breath just a little bit. If your hands are connected to the body, maybe just noticing how changes in the breath affect other changes in the body, like your heartbeat. Making sure the chest is nice and lifted. Shoulders back, chin tucked, long through the back of the neck. Just creating space to honor that prana, that life force, moving in and out of the body. Maybe just starting to ground yourself in that prana, that universal energy, that universal vibration that connects all living beings and things. If you're feeling judgmental toward yourself in any aspect of this process, just notice that. When you feel settled in and rooted down through the mat, we can start to incorporate some gentle movement here. Remember, you can take whatever movement feels right in your body today. I'm going to start just by releasing my hands from the heart space and coming into a self-embrace, which we practice quite a bit in this class. So go ahead at your own pace if you're ready to do so. Otherwise, I'll cue it up by bringing palms together directly in front of the heart space, elbows at full extension. And then moving the palms away from one another and behind the back somewhere, bringing the backs of the palms toward one another. Just stretching through the chest, noticing what you feel, being present in the body. Bring the palms back toward one another when you're ready, and we'll bring one palm under the other as they crisscross, bringing the hands all the way around to the upper back or backs of the shoulders, wherever they land there. First, noticing the warmth of your own touch, your own hands, and then maybe walking the fingers closer in together, just to notice how that changes sensations there. So being present and mindful, connecting with the breath. On your inhale, we'll raise the elbows up toward the ceiling or the sky. And on your exhale, just curl inward, relaxing through the head, the neck, and the shoulders. Curling up into a little half ball shape here. Letting go of expectations for the pose. reconnecting with the breath. Noticing what you feel. Just noticing how the breath changes the sensations of the body. Breathing all the way down into your roots, into your sits bones, into the earth. And letting something go on your exhales. You might repeat your mantra here internally or in a whisper. Taking your time just to notice how you feel. When you feel good about that, we can root back down through the sits bones and slowly curl up through the spine. We'll do the same thing on the second side by slowly unraveling the arms, coming all the way up to that upright posture, bringing the palms toward one another behind the back one more time, stretching through the chest and upper back. We'll bring the palms together very slowly, gently, mindfully, and this time bring the opposite palm underneath. Same situation here. Hands come to the upper back or rear delts. Walk the fingertips in toward one another. Notice what you feel. Reconnect with the breath. And on your exhale, slowly curl inward one more time. Quiet the mind, turn inward. Take your time here, maybe reminding the body that this is a safe space and you are in control of your own practice. When you're ready, you can root down once again through the sits bones, curling up through the lumbar, then the thoracic, then the cervical spine. Lifting the elbows, unraveling the arms, bringing the backs of the palms toward one another behind the back. Good. Bring it all back to center when you feel ready. And we'll do a little bit of gentle side body stretching here, but if your body's asking for something else, go ahead and follow that cue instead of mine. I'm going to remove my pillow from under my hips. Get rooted, feel connected, sits bones to the earth or to the mat. And we'll do some gentle side body stretching today. We'll start by bringing the left palm to the mat or to the floor on the outside of your left hip. And I'm just going to reach up and over with my right hand, coming all the way up and overhead. Sort of mimicking the sunrise or sunset. And same thing on the second side, gently bringing that right hand to the mat, to the earth, and cycling that left hand up and overhead. Stretching in any way that's organic to your body, that feels right for you. You can repeat that a couple times, doing the same thing once again on the first side, making it dynamic. Noticing that long line of energy down the side body and into the hip. Maybe connecting with the breath, moving at your own pace, maybe repeating your mantra. Move through that 1 or 2 more times on each side. Take your time there, move through that as much as it is useful to you. And when you're ready, we're going to slowly roll to our backs. So I'm going to turn on my mat once I deal with this cat situation, and I will meet you there. Okay, when you get to your back, feel free to put that pillow under your head and neck if you need to or want to. And then we're just going to pull the knees into the chest and maybe just rock gently left to right. Just playing with balance here. Feeling the connection to the earth, massaging through the low back. Maybe repeating your mantra, reminding yourself that you're safe. And then you might also just find stillness there with your knees tucked into your chest. Feel free to close your eyes at any time if it feels right. From here, I'm going to move into Happy Baby and do the same thing or something similar. Any kind of easy, organic movement that feels right. If Happy Baby is not accessible to you, feel free to stay here or incorporate any other movement that you want to. Come into Happy Baby, I'm just going to bring my fingertips and my hands to the outside edges of the feet. And then open up the hamstrings toward the ceiling, heels toward the ceiling. Same thing, just rocking gently left or right, playing with balance, massaging through the back. Noticing that compression through the hip flexors. And then just being curious in the body, maybe just extending through the legs, just stretching in any way that feels right for your body today. Feel free to play around with that as long as you want to. From here, I'm going to move into a reclined bound angle pose. So just bringing the soles of the feet together, letting the knees fall apart. Once again, feel free to grab your pillow if you want to. You can rest your hands anywhere on the body for this pose, and that's one thing that I really love about this pose. So you can just rest your hands wherever they naturally fall, like on your ribs. Or you could be more intentional, maybe resting a hand on the heart space and one on the belly. You can also rest your hands on the front of your hips, the iliac crest, or on the inside of the thighs. Feel free to put a pillow under your head and neck or under your low back, or anywhere that's right for you today. Reconnect with the breath. Maybe you remember your mantra. I am peace. I am calm. I am enough. I am guided and held. Noticing the depth of your inhales. Maybe letting go of something that you don't need on your exhales. Take as much time as you'd like in this pose or any other that you need here today. And when you're ready to come out of this pose, we'll start by bringing the fingertips or the hands to the outside edges of the thighs, just guiding the knees back toward one another, rolling back onto the soles of the feet. And we're going to come back up to sitting and come forward into all fours tabletop position for cat-cow. So take your time getting there. Maybe start by tucking the knees into the chest. And maybe bringing the hands to the backs of the knees or thighs, rolling up to sitting. And just continuing that trajectory forward onto all fours. Take your time getting there. Moving nice and slowly today. Creating space for safety. Not in a rush. Not anxious. Once you get there, if you know what to do, just start moving at your own pace. Start by planting the knees under the under the hip bones and the palms under the shoulders. You can sync up with your breath here, and on your inhale, drop the belly, lift the gaze, shoulders back. And on your exhale, low ribs come inward to meet the back body, pressing into the palms and away from your mat. Good. Continue through that movement. Mix it up however you'd like. Listen to your cues from the body. Let go of what's not serving you and try to be present in the sensations that you feel. And hear and see. I'm going to bend into my elbows, keeping the palms planted. Just draw circles with the ribs, just to notice what I feel, what I hear. Remember, you can also do the same with the hips, just drawing circles with the hips back toward the left side of the mat and toward the heels, toward the right side of the mat, and then forward. Moving with intention, staying connected to your mantra and the breath. All right, when you feel good about that, we're going to do a similar type of movement, just moving between our downward dog pose and cobra pose, or upward facing dog, whatever's in your practice. So I'm going to start by curling the toes under, extending through my knees and sending the hips up toward the sky or toward the ceiling. Bring the heels down toward the mat. They don't have to touch. Mine are not touching right now. If this is your first downward dog of the day, it might be pretty stiff through the hamstrings, and that's totally okay. Just notice. Good. From here, I'm gonna kind of walk my hands forward into where they would go for a plank, and then I'm going to extend fully through the hips and send the hips all the way down toward the mat. So you can just rest the hips on the mat here or the tops of the thighs, or you can come into upward dog by rolling onto the tops of the feet and keeping the hips raised slightly off the mat. So hips and thighs are not touching the mat in upward facing dog. Anyway, take whatever works for you. Cobra is totally fine here. And we're going to move back into downward dog and vice versa. So curl the toes under when you're ready. Send the hips back up toward the ceiling, heels toward the floor. Nice flat back here. Bend into the knees if you need to. And then same thing, extending through the hips, lowering the hips down toward the mat. Just noticing what you feel and where. So coming into cobra or into upward facing dog. Whatever works for you in your body today. Take your time, moving gently like you're moving through water. You can take as many iterations of that as you'd like. Stretching through the back, through pretty much everywhere, but also staying connected with the breath. And your mantra. When you feel good about that, we're going to next move into a traditional child's pose. So get there however you want to get there. And bring the knees to the mat. Shins are going to be together. We'll send the hips back toward the heels. Feel free to grab a pillow or block for under your forehead if you need that here. Otherwise, bring the forehead to the mat or to the earth. Just send the palms back somewhere near the feet. Palms facing upward. You can just let the shoulders, the head, and the neck relax. Let gravity and the expansion of your inhales stretch through and relax the muscles of the upper back. Deep on the inhalations and complete on the exhale. You might take this time just to envision this bubble of self-care that you've created for yourself on the mat today. You might remind your body that this is a safe space. And sometimes for some of us that means saying it out loud. And same for your mantra. You can whisper it as an affirmation. I am calm. I am peace. I am guided and held. And in this traditional version of child's pose, I always like to suggest contact with the feet. This could be a good time just to massage through the feet, through the heels, whatever is accessible to you. Maybe just to rest your hands on the feet. Feel any kind of connection there. Noticing the warmth of your hands, the healing of your own touch. Take a nice deep inhale. Maybe repeat your mantra on your exhale. Take a few more cycles of breath just to quietly turn inward. Clear that space, quiet the mind. Come back to the breath. When you're ready, you might gently open the eyes if they're closed. Maybe release the hands and the feet. Just open the palms up toward the ceiling. To come out of this pose, we're just going to imagine that we're anchoring down through the hips, pressing them toward the heels. Just slowly curling up through the lumbar, then the thoracic, and then the cervical spine. Finding that nice upright posture, shoulders back, opening up through the chest, tucking the chin. Creating those perfect conditions for nice deep inhales, that flow of prana, that life force into and out of the body. Good. From here, you can take any other easy organic movement that your body is asking you for. Maybe just some overhead stretching, maybe another self-embrace. I'm going to set up for a little spinal twist just by bringing my right hand to the outside edge of my left knee or left thigh and swimming that left hand around behind me, planting the fingertips to sit up, lift, and twist. Pulling that left shoulder back, maybe looking over the left shoulder if it's accessible to you right now. Noticing the sensations of the breath and change of perspective here. And then releasing that back through center to do the same thing on the second side. So I'll start by bringing my left hand to the outside edge of my right knee, right thigh. Swinging that right hand slowly, gently, mindfully around behind me. Planting my fingertips, pulling my shoulder back. Really opening up through the chest. Maybe looking over the right shoulder if it's accessible. Not forcing any shapes, not passing any judgment on ourselves. Releasing the fingertips and letting go of expectations in this practice. Again, feel free to take any movement that feels right for you, but I'm going to also just stretch through the front of the ankles here by pressing my right palm down into my right knee, curling the left fingertips to the front of the left knee, and then just bending into that left elbow, pulling that left knee in toward the chest or toward the body. Trying to stay nice and aligned through the spine. Chest is still open, not collapsing here. And again, not forcing anything. Just letting the sensations of the body guide my movement. Quietly notice how you feel. And gently release that left knee back to the mat. We'll do the same thing on the second side. So I'm going to press my left palm into the top of my left thigh. I'm going to slide my right fingertips to the front of my right knee and then bend into that right elbow to just pull that right knee in toward the body, toward the chest. Breathing deep into the sensations that you feel there, finding balance. Coming back to your intent for this practice or your mantra. And gently releasing that right knee when you feel good about it. From here, I'm going to come into Malasana or Yogi Squat. I'm We're going to do that first by leaning forward onto the palms, lifting the hips, and then curling the toes under. From there, I will kind of wobble my feet over to the outside edges of the mat, creating a little wider base here. I'm going to bring my heels toward the floor and plant my elbows on the inside of both knees, bringing palms together at the heart space. If any part of this is inaccessible for you, feel free to keep your hands on the floor, lean forward if you need to, and just know that your practice will be working toward stability in this pose and a posture that lets you breathe comfortably and with ease. So let's take a second here just to get grounded in this pose. Reconnect with the breath and find stillness. When you feel good about it, we're going to release the palms to the mat and guide ourselves into a standing forward fold, as you may have guessed. So to do that, we'll start by leaning forward onto the palms and extending fully through the knees. And then we'll just heel toe the feet in toward one another until they're planted under the hips. Working toward full extension at the knees, but you can totally bend into your knees if your hamstrings are tight. From here, I'm going to relax through the head, the neck, and the shoulders, just letting everything hang down and kind of exist, including the palms. You can just let your hands fall down to the mat or dangle in the air. And if you're up here somewhere, maybe bent knees, what have you, feel free to grab some blocks or props to put under the hands if that's available to you. Otherwise, we're either going to find stillness here and just relax everything from the waist up, or maybe either clasping opposite elbows or keeping your hands dangling on the mat. We'll find a gentle sway from left to right. Nice and slow, really not forcing or bouncing or moving erratically here. We want to be gentle on the PCL, the hamstrings, everything in the posterior chain. So nice and gentle, just swaying left to right, noticing what you feel and where. Honoring wherever your body is. Don't worry too much about how your shape looks or if you're doing it right. Just listen to your body and let it guide you. Your body is often trying to regulate its own nervous system. And in some people that looks like repeated movements, such as this, or other types of rocking, swaying, spinning, shaking out the hands or feet. All of those things are an attempt by your body to subconsciously regulate your energy and your nervous system. So all that to say, your body knows what to do. Listen to it. All you have to do is focus on your breath work. Whether you're swaying or in stillness, try to give yourself permission to relax a little more deeply into this. Let go a little bit more. Maybe remind yourself that you are safe. This is your practice. Root down through the earth and feel supported by the earth. by your mat. Let go of anything you don't need here. Spend as much time here as you'd like. Take your time and turn inward. Feels right. And from here, I am going to cue up a transition to our backs or our final meditative posture. So to do that, we can move back through that yogi squat. I'll start by bringing my fingertips to the mat and just inching my feet to the outside edges of the mat, letting my toes spill off. And then I'll bend into the knees, letting the hips sink down toward the earth or toward the mat. You can go ahead and bring the palms together at the heart space one more time if it feels right. From here, we'll try to anchor the hips down toward the mat without using the hands to stabilize us. So if that's a challenge for you, just keep practicing that in future sessions. Take your time getting there. Sink the hips back. Bring the feet out in front. And I'm going to move into a Shavasana, corpse pose from here. But if you prefer a final meditative posture that is not that, take whatever you need here. I like Shavasana for the body scan that we're going to do as we wind down the practice. But if you can connect with different parts of the body in a different position and meditate from that position, feel free. So I'm going to let my palms fall open to the left and to the right. Feel free to grab a pillow for under your head or your neck or your low back or your knees or anything that's calling to you. Take a second just to suspend yourself in space and time and just be here now. Trusting that you are in a safe space, you are guided and held, you are calm, you are peace. Noticing the quality of the breath and the connections of the body to the earth or to the mat. You might gently scan through the body here with your mind's eye. Just bringing your awareness first to the tips of the toes. Then through the foot, maybe the bottom of the foot, the outside edges of the feet, the heels, the tops of the feet, and into the ankles. Move slowly as you observe without judgment. If you're having difficulty seeing a space or feeling connected to a part of the body, just incorporate a little micro movement. So if you can't feel your ankles, maybe flex and extend through that joint. Again, just bringing your awareness there, noticing. And if you can do that in stillness, I would encourage you to. Bringing your mind's eye all the way up and through the body, through the ankles, the shins, the calves, the knees. Just taking inventory, checking in, noticing what you notice. Continue making your way all the way up. Through your meridians, through your chakras, through the different parts of your anatomy. To notice what you're feeling and where in the bodies. As you bring your awareness or your mind's eye all the way up through the third eye and then the crown, just notice if there's anything you need here before you sink into meditation. And feel free to take any poses that you need before you settle into that. If you want to close out the practice in any meditative posture that isn't Shavasana, feel free to transition there now or when you're ready. And we'll just start that meditation by reconnecting with our mantras or our intentions for today's practice. Maybe reconnecting with that balance in your inhales and exhales, honoring that prana, that energy, that life force as it enters and exits the body via your breath. Sink a little deeper into the mat and quiet the mind. Reaching toward that sattvic state of pure connection to the universe and all living things. As always, I would encourage you just to stay here in quiet meditation for as long as you can. If you start to get distracted, just come right back to it, focusing first on the sound of the breath. I'm going to close the practice and leave you here in a meditative state. So before I do that, I always want to recognize that I'm leading this practice from unceded Monongahela and Osage territories in what is now known as Western Pennsylvania. I would encourage you to find out whose indigenous lands you're practicing from and how to support their ongoing struggles for liberation. I'm going to bring my palms together to rest gently at the third eye or the space between the eyebrows. Feel free to join me if that feels right, or just stay where you are in stillness. I want to close this practice by recognizing that yoga is an ancient spiritual tradition coming from the subcontinent of India and Indian culture. So we recognize and honor that heritage without appropriation. We also recognize that yoga functions today in many different ways for many different people of the world, including as a community. I thank you so much for being part of my community today. I hope you got something you needed here today, and I hope to see you again soon. Namaste.